What's up, everybody? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin.
And we have yet another album review for you, and one that I have been super anticipating because the last one was a year-ender for me, and I was kind of hoping for that same sort of vibe, and spoiler alert on me, I got it. We are going to go over the latest offering from Ripped to Shreds, Sanshi. This also comes out on the 27th of September on Relapse Records. This band formed in 2016 in San Jose, California. This is their fourth full-length overall. I actually did a review for their last album, Jammin, as a solo review forever ago. It made my year-end list. Absolutely fantastic album. I have been into this band since, God, I forget where I found out about them, but I got their EP, Demon Scriptures, and I was like, oh my God, that is such a snarly HM2 tone. I think I'm in love. And for those that don't know, this band is just flat out insane death metal with hints of grind and thrash and other elements woven in, and all played with a ferocious buzzsaw guitar tone, headed up by one Andrew Lee, who I know from other projects as well, like Azath and Skull Smasher. And this is my favorite project that he's involved in. And yeah, this band is every bit as intense and explosive as any band named after a Terrorizer song. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. So, okay, I was introduced to this band with Jammin, their last record, and I really liked that record. And I still really like that record, and that record is present here, too, just done better, which is crazy because Jammin was already a banger of an album. But this record, phew.
Yeah, any remote complaint that I had about Jammin, which I didn't have that many at all, it seems like it has been erased, and everything that I loved about that album is possibly done better here. At its core, this band is very much rooted in Swedish death metal. In fact, the opening track, Into the Court of Yan Luoyang, dude, it kind of runs like Left Hand Path. Like the song. And if there is one way to trip my algorithm and get the serotonin flowing in my brain, play me that song. It kind of does. It has a lot of the same accents, the riff work, the crazy transitions, the pummeling drum work. I mean, it kind of does it all, but this band pulls influences from a kind of across the middle spectrum and blends it in to this Swedish death metal sound. There are elements of thrash metal. There's elements of death doom. There are elements of grindcore and death grind. There's even classic heavy metal kind of woven in here, but it's all kind of fused to this molten core of just HM2 buzzsaw gnarliness, and it works.
The riffing in this record is insane. I wish that I could properly pinpoint tracks. But to be honest with you, I wrote down almost every track, dude. Sacrificial Fire. The riffing in that song is sick. One thing I have to talk about on this record, because it's going to be impossible for me to not mention this at great length at any given time, is the drum work on this album. Brian Doe, you're a hell of a drummer.
Wow.
Hands down. First of all, the drum sound in this record, I don't think could get any more perfect. In fact, someone recently said something to us in a live stream, said, talk about your favorite drum sounds on a record. It's this record. Punchy, crisp. Have you ever heard the drum sound on Vision of Disorder's Imprint? It's that, but punchier. The drum work is insane. The transitions and the fills that this guy throws in. I'll use the last track as an example. Perverting the Funeral Rites, Stripping for the Dead. Turnover City. There are so many awesome turnovers going on in that. I just can't get enough of it. I feel like you should talk now.
Well, I was going to say that song title is kind of odd because, maybe she's working her way through college, but I think she's kind of targeting the wrong demographic. She can just take their wallets. They're dead. The drum work just drives this album. It is fast-paced almost throughout. There's definitely some more groove-laden tracks. Corpse Betrothal, Feast of the Deceased, they're a little bit more groove-laden, but there's always clever transitions. And God, this dude can just flat out blast, but I like what he does in the blast. There are clever just snare rolls and quick turnovers that are just absolutely blindingly fast, but they're done so tightly. Everything about this album is tight. There's nothing on here that sounds remotely sloppy. I would go as far as to say that this album is as tight as a lot of tech death albums that are just, again, frequently doing transitions and wankery and such, except this doesn't do that. This is about riffs. This is about, awesome leads, hooks, this band, again, is something that I brought up in the last one, is deceptively melodic. A lot of this is ferocious. Like, it is blasty, the riffs are just sinister and menacing and brutal as hell.
No.
But out of nowhere, you can get these just amazing transitions into brighter, more melodic territory with amazing lead work. In fact, this album has way more leads than the last one, and I think they're done even better.
Oftentimes there's multiple leads in songs too. Sacrificial Fire, I think, has 2 leads. The first track, Into the Court of Yan Luoyang, that I know has multiple leads in it. Or even the song Horrendous Corpse Resurrection, I swear to you that has a Melodeath lead in it. Actually, I swear to you that has Melodeath riffs in it.
Dude, Melodeath is all over here. Like, you just get like these moments, like going from like, again, like these kind of grindy, more like savage riffs to just like tremolo harmonies that kind of harken back to like, you know, At the Gates and In Flames and such. And great lead melodies, like not just like flat out solos, which solos are all over here, but like good lead harmonies. Sacrificial Fire, there is a section towards the end after just a ton of just absolutely savage, disgusting riffs that it just switches gears almost seamlessly to, honestly, something that reminded me more of Heartwork, which, yeah, Heartwork, tons of savage riffs, but notable melody on there. Like, you get this cool crawling lead melody on there. The riffs behind it just sound like a little bit more tuneful and bright. And these dynamic shifts are just absolutely insane. Living in Effigy has, honestly, one of my favorite transitions in the entire album. This song is just absolutely crushing. Good groovy start, D beats, like it goes like full on classic Dismember style, you know, Swedish death metal. Everything I love. And then around the middle, there's a transition where it just slows down to a slimy, grimy crawl. Like, you get these doomy, just gross riffs that feel like they're just pulling you into like, I don't know, like a swamp or a fucking sewer full of vomit. I don't know. Choose your poison. They both sound like they would suck. But it is just oppressive and dark. And then there's this cool transition that it just kind of speeds up slowly to the point where you get to the lead and it literally shoots you out of a fucking cannon from that swamp or sewer. Again, take your pick. And just fires you right into the sun.
Yeah.
I love that dramatic speed up. But again, everything is paced so well, which is insane because this album is just flying for most of this. Like, this is honestly one of the most intense listens I've had here recently, just in terms of just absolutely like foot on the gas intensity.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm actually surprised that my head is still attached to my neck. There were so many headbangable moments in here, and at one point in this album, things were so fast and intense that my vision skewed for a minute. I was like, dude.
And again, with all that brutality, all of a sudden you hit these spots of just brilliant melodies. Horrendous Corpse Resurrection, there is a section on there where it goes like full bore heavy metal. Like, you know, all those cool like Iron Maiden-ish harmonies that you associate with this band, except with an HM2 tone, they flat out do it. And it is remarkably catchy. It just kind of changes the nature of the song, but it's the shift back. Because after that brilliant moment of, you know, melody and hooks and, you know, just all around pleasant sounding metal, if it wasn't played with a buzzsaw guitar tone, because I know some people don't like that, whatever. Then it just shifts into grindcore. Like, flat out blasts and punky riffs and fuck. It is just insane. Like, it takes you a little while to get used to that, but by the time you get used to that, it's like, well, hey, we're already kind of done with this song, but wait, wasn't that neat? And you're like, yeah, what happened to me? Something happened.
Yep.
But at the same time, I will say that this isn't so transition happy where you lose the song. There's no point on here where I wasn't just firmly engrossed in all of the clever songwriting, because this album, the songwriting here is amazing.
Yep. And I think part of that too has to deal with the fact that even though this is really crazy music with a lot of transitions, is they allow each individual part to breathe just enough for you to catch on before they switch it to something else. So, like, you have a bunch of moments where your consciousness kicks in and you're like, all right, that's cool. And then bam, there's another one. And then you get used to that. And then bam, there's another one. Like, there's just enough time to breathe. And that's what makes this so entertaining.
Yeah, like a lot of this too, I think it also, it plays on like some of the strengths of death metal. Like, it is definitely retro. It plays, to like that old school sound that a lot of death metal heads love, but it's also modern in the sense that there's a lot of experimentation. It is very technical, but again, like, it finds a balance in there, and I really dig that. Like, Visions of Sin, Mirror of Darkness, the opening of that sounds like, like any awesome riff pulled off of Leprosy, except played with an HM2 tone. Then that goes like right into like double time bolt thrower grooves. But again, it's these frequent transitions, and again, like the cleverness, like how they are integrated and how they integrate like other different styles in there very cleverly. Like, I really wasn't expecting to hear heavy metal harmonies, even though they were probably on Jubian. But, that was kind of like an unexpected turn on that one too. And again, how they do it is a big part of it, because those transitions, they're smooth, the song still flows, and then by the time you realize, like, wait, man, they kind of like completely changed it. You're like, I didn't stop headbanging though. I just kind of did it. I'm on autopilot. It's pretty awesome. And one of my complaints about Jubian, and it was minor, like it really didn't hamper that album very much at all, was the fact that I thought Andrew's vocals were kind of uniform across the board. Like, he's got like maximum bleh in his vocal delivery, and I love it. But I did think that with the lyrical subject matter and such, like a little bit of clarity would have been nice, just because he has some really cool concepts in his lyrics. But this one, there's way more vocal trade-offs. Like, everyone in the band is doing vocals, but I think it's the second guitarist that is actually complementing him with a higher kind of like thrashy scream. And that really kind of like works with the dynamics of the songwriting really well.
There's a lot of call and response in the vocals. It's kind of like the rest of the album, where they don't really let you nail yourself down to one thing too long before they throw another surprise at you. The vocals kind of have the same effect. Like, again, the call and response, just like, oh, that's cool, oh, that's cool, oh, that's cool, that makes more sense. It allows the songs to flow better even vocally. Yeah,
Cultivating Towards Ascension, they actually let the other guitarist, I believe, again, who's doing the more screamy vocals, kind of take the lead. In fact, Andrew really doesn't do a lot of growls. Like, when he comes in, it's like one of the most punishing sections of the song, like brutal as hell, and those like clever like cymbal accents and grooves in that song.
Yeah, dude, there's awesome.
Yeah, dude, we could probably go on about this dude's drum work. Feast of the Seas alone, like that, the end of that song, there are just these amazing sets of turnovers, and how he kind of just lands into that groove after all that crazy shit is awesome. And the breakdown that is on Visions of Sin, Mirror of Darkness, my God, that thing is just chuggy and wonderful.
I will state that Cultivating Towards Ascension is probably not only the most melodic, but the most catchy as far as riffs are concerned. Just a ton of melody all over there, and you get a bunch of like shreddy lead pockets. Like, they're not full-blown leads, but there's probably like, I don't know, like 6 times where it sounds like it's going to be a lead, but it's just the tag on the riff.
Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of the leads on here are honestly pretty short, but it's that sort of like give and take, back and forth sort of thing.
Yeah.
I really like. And the leads are tasteful. Like, honestly, there's a lot of melody to most of the lead work on here. As far as any negatives I have on this, I don't. I would have to make up shit in order to find reasons to not like this. Like I heard Andrew Lee doesn't put his cart back at the grocery store in the car corral. Fucking dick. He doesn't. He's probably a nice guy.
I heard Brian farts on his grandmother. He doesn't. Who does that? No.
I heard the other guys like to drive like 5 miles under the speed limit in the passing lane. Bastards. None of that shit's true. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah,
I'll take a wild guess that it's totally not true. I like everything on here. Every song on here I think is absolutely killer. And I said that about Jubian, but legit, I think they kind of just did everything that they did on that album and just did it better. It's more focused. It sounds tighter. Yeah. The production is amazing. This was mixed and recorded by Andrew in his studio and then mastered by Damien Herring of Horrendous. It sounds amazing.
Done.
The guitar tone is just about perfect. Like, everything has a great space in terms of the mix. Yeah, I legit have like not a single complaint.
I don't either. We talked about this after we listened to it. We were standing outside, and he said, do you have anything wrong? And I said, no, nothing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. This record is damn near close to perfection.
Again, I would have to invent some shit in my head, like, you didn't like this. Like, shut up, brain, you know I did. Yeah, you're right. But like a dick, I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars because it's tough for me to give out a 5. But man, like this is as close as Niall got to that 5 mark. Like,
no shit,
dude, this album is absolutely amazing. Some of the best songwriting I've heard in this band yet. Like, this band just keeps getting better with every release. The riff work is unreal. The songwriting itself is the thing that really impresses me. Like, the dynamics, the transitions, everything on here is smooth. It never loses momentum or energy. And oh my God, does this album have energy. Like, if you listen to this entire album live at a show, you should be able to rip a bar stool right out of the fucking ground and throw it across the street. You should be able to do that with the amount of energy that this album fucking puts out. Because it is absolutely relentless. But again, like, there's so much more. The nuance, the songwriting, the melodies, the fucking punishing breakdowns. God, this album does, like, everything right. Like, legit, it started off like Left Hand Path, and it was like, God damn it, I'm gonna like this. And yeah, I was right. I love this album. This is absolutely awesome. If you're a big fan of, again, like Entombed, Dismember, Bloodbath, also Exhumed.
Yep.
God, there's so many bands. Like, there's a little bit of Rotten Sound in here too. Yep. God, like Sodom and Creator. Like, there's some good thrashy sections. This is just flat out amazing. Honestly, this is one of the best albums I've heard this month, and don't be super surprised if you see it on my year-end list. Get this. It's great.
That's a hard review to follow right there, but it's also 4.5. This record is absolutely killer on pretty much every forefront I can think of. Killer drum work, killer riff work, just the most clever transitions I think out there right now. It is a constant punch to the face. This record is intense. Like, if you were to look up the word intense in the dictionary, it would be the cover of this album, because it's sheerly unrelenting. It makes me want to get in a mosh pit, and I'm in my 40s, and I don't do that, because I would break. I tell you what, they play songs like Force Fed and Feast of the Deceased live. I'm running in that bitch. I'm sorry. I've got medical insurance. I can do that. I was surprised my head didn't fall off my neck. I know I said that earlier, but you cannot help but bang your head to this record. It's wildly creative. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It doesn't run out.
Yeah, imagine the Energizer Bunny playing blast beats in that stupid drum.
Yeah, no shit.
And not being pink. This thing would be like black.
That'd be
probably
cool.
Covered in like entrails.
Probably. This record is definitely going to be vying for a very top spot on my year-end list. I don't foresee myself turning off this record anytime soon. It's just killer. If you like HM2 death metal, I'm not going to go through and name all the bands, but if you like HM2 death metal, Dismember, Bloodbath, Entombed, things like that, you're going to love this. Just trust me. Trust the both of us. Out of all the bands you see us review, just trust us both. When we say this record kicks ass, you should go get it.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon, at least for the time being. We're probably going to switch to memberships here, because that just seems like a better idea. Yeah. But for now, we're still there. And if you would like to help us out, there is a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. It is also on our channel up in the banner in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you're looking for Thralls Metal stuff, you have to go to thrallsmetal.com. We have t-shirts, both old and new. The old ones are discounted, provided we have your size. And we even have hats, too. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, click the link down below.
And there's always tons of stuff going on at Thralls Metal, because what else are we going to do, man? Album reviews, discography rankings, multiple discussion forums, live streams we've been doing a lot of, which have been cool. Nick's never-ending collection updates, states of metal, is it not metal? All this metal shit all the time, and it's all for you guys. We appreciate all of you who have subscribed to Thralls of Metal and continue to interact with us and just help make this a whole lot more special, I think, than we ever thought it would be. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely awesome. You guys are as awesome as this album. That is a high.
Yeah, it is.
compliment
That's
right
really
now.
high up there. The bar is up there, dude.
And yeah, we appreciate the living shit out of you guys. So one more big thank you because of how awesome you are, and we will catch you later.